Hey guys, it's Maggie and I'm back today, and today I'm going to be talking about a question I got a number of times in relation to my recent sinus surgery, and that's whether or not I had to pause my biologic therapy. Because I have an autoimmune disease, I use medication to essentially modulate my immune system to help prevent my body from attacking itself. In times when the body is stressed, like when you're getting surgery or when you already have an infection, it might be needed to pause your biologic therapy to let your body be able to fight off infection. And that's exactly what I did. But you might be questioning about my Crohn's symptoms and if they started to come back because I paused my biologic therapy. And the answer is possibly, which just reminds me of how important it is to take my injections on time. And while this time, obviously, I couldn't avoid it, I was having surgery and risk versus benefit, it was better for me to pause it. It made me look at all of the other times that I had been really late on taking it, and those could have been avoided. I want to thank Smart Sharp Spin for sponsoring this video, and I'm very excited to announce I'm partnering with them as an ambassador, and they have so kindly sent along a coupon code, which I will have at the end of this video. But with continuing usage of the Smart Sharp Spin, I'm really thrilled to tell you that I have made it to 100% compliancy. I've never seen that. I have never seen that while being on my biologic. So that is a huge change, a huge step forward in managing my care. As we talked a little bit about before, we know that biologics and those kinds of medications are used to help your body from essentially attacking itself, your immune system from being in overdrive, which is what autoimmune illnesses are. And there are a whole bunch of autoimmune diseases. Crohn's disease is just one of them. When we take biologics, it gets our immune system back to more of a normal state where it should be. The only problem is when anybody, whether they have an autoimmune illness or not, when they get sick or they have stress with their body, their immune system lowers and they're more susceptible to illness. And when someone like myself is on a biologic, it's important to look at whether or not I need to pause it when facing something like sinus surgery. So that is what I did, and it's something that every patient needs to discuss with their medical provider. So I talked to my doctor about what I should do in this instance, and we decided on skipping one dose, so I would stay on the same schedule, but I would just miss one dose of my medication, meaning that those 2-week intervals, I just skipped one of them. And my surgery landed right about the middle of that interval. This was a little nerve-wracking to do, I gotta be honest, because the whole reason I'm taking this medication is so I don't have Crohn's symptoms. You know, I'm not going into a flare, I'm not having an increase in disease activity. So I definitely was a little nervous pausing that, because you never know what's going to happen. And while obviously I don't know for certain, I'm not having scopes every 5 seconds, what I can say is that towards the end of that period where I hadn't taken my medication on time because I couldn't, I was having surgery, I noticed an increase in abdominal pain and discomfort, kind of bloating. I noticed loose ostomy output and a little bit of nausea, and I wasn't used to that. So, you know, I don't know 100% if that was the cause, but they seemed highly correlated and could have been potentially because I wasn't taking my medication. And that just makes me think of all the times that I took my medication late. Not because, you know, I had a good excuse like I was getting surgery, but because I'm just really bad at, you know, knowing when I'm supposed to take it. Plus, when you're not taking it on time, it allows your body to build antibodies against the medication, and that can become a whole mess where then the medication isn't effective for you anymore. So I just look back at that and think, oh my goodness, how could I let that happen? But because of the Smart Sharp Spin, which I've been using for a little bit now, my compliance, like I said, is up to 100%, and I am very proud of that. But it's because of the Smart Sharp Spin that I have been able to take my medication on time every single time. I'm able to stick to it because every injection matters. I've talked about the Smart Sharp Spin before, and I will link that video above so that way you can see all of the in-depth details on it. But I want to talk about my favorite things with it, and I think the number one thing is truly the personalized reminders. That is what has helped me stay on track with my injections. On the actual Smart Sharp Spin, I can see the next date that I'm due, as well as getting text message reminders. It's made all the difference. I've tried so many methods to keep track of my due date for when I have to take it. And, I write it on a Post-it note. Well, then I lose that Post-it note. I put it on my phone calendar. Well, I've got 7 different phone calendars. So then I'm trying to flip through all the different ones to figure out where I put my injection schedule. It was just a mess, but now it goes right to a text message, right to me, and I see it and I know, okay, today's the day. I walk by my Smart Sharp Spin in the kitchen. It's lit up blue, so I know today's the day. Also, it's really important with injections to keep rotating where you're doing it. And I would fail at that too. I would always forget, did I do my leg? Did I do my stomach last? I have no idea because that was 2 weeks ago. So thankfully, this will tell me exactly where I'm supposed to do it, both on the app on my phone plus on the Smart Sharp Spin. Another wonderful thing is the customer support. When I had to skip that one dose, I was not happy that I would lose my 100% compliance rate. And so I actually contacted them, let them know what was going on, and they immediately adjusted my due date. My compliance rate went to 100 again. It was not my fault I was missing my injection, but yes, they were so immediate and responding to me, so kind. It made it really simple and stress-free. Plus, the automatic shipment of a new Sharp Spin, the red Sharp Spin that's actually inside of the Smart Sharp Spin, is fantastic. It automatically tracks how full your Sharp Spin is and sends you a new one. They send you a prepaid package for you to mail back your old one. Everything is taken care of for you. You don't have to remember all of these extra details when it comes down to a simple injection. And probably my favorite thing is the design of the Smart Sharp Spin. It's very minimalist. It just looks nice in my home. Previously, with my other Sharp Spins that I use, which you probably already know what I'm talking about, the bright red ones that say biohazard on them, I would have them in our kitchen or, basically wherever I was taking my injection, just so it was convenient and handy. The thing about the red Sharp Spins, though, are that I felt like they were screaming, you've got to take this medication in order to not be sick. And I felt like it was screaming that to anybody who came over. And if you guys watch my channel, you know that we often have guests where our house is pretty loud and bustling. And while I'm very open about having Crohn's disease and I talk about it a lot, I just don't necessarily want there to be symbols all around my house screaming that I have it. I want to be able to choose when I talk about it, and when people would come over, they would look at the Sharp Spin and ask me about it. So when I knew we were having guests over, I would put the Sharp Spin in a closet, or I'd hide it away because, if I have guests, I don't really feel like talking about that stuff. It really became a symbol of just negativity. I'm a sick person. I need this to put my injections in, the injections that make me avoid sickness. Then came along the Smart Sharp Spin with its mint green and white casing, just so beautiful. I wound up moving it into our kitchen where basically we spend a lot of our time, especially when we have people over, and it turned into this symbol of health and, being proactive about my disease. It was me being able to maintain my disease rather than avoiding illness. And so I became very proud of it, and it's on display. It matches all the decor that I have in our kitchen. It fits in perfectly. Actually, I think it matches the color of our walls in here. Didn't mean to do that, but hey. And with the technology of the Smart Sharp Spin, it really made me feel like I was on top of my care. I knew exactly what was going on. It gave me this proactive look at my Crohn's disease in general. The other day I got a call from my pharmacy to renew my shipment of my medication. And previously, when I would have this call, they would ask me when I was next due, so that way they knew when to ship it out. And I would basically be shuffling, trying to figure out the date. Like I said, post-it notes that are now lost and multiple phone calendars. Now it takes me about 3 seconds. I'm on the phone, I pull up my app, and I see the next due date. I tell my pharmacist, and we're good to go. All of this being said, my Smart Sharp Spin has really become my beacon of health and just kind of calmed me in what would otherwise be considered an overwhelming situation of having to self-inject. It really has allowed me empowerment with managing my disease without me having to put my disease on display for everyone to see. You know, it gives me that dignity and privacy that I didn't know I needed. So I'm really thankful for the Smart Sharp Spin, keeping me on track with my injections, which obviously I recently learned the importance of that with those little bits of increases of symptoms. I'm very thankful to have it. It's just making a difference in how I manage my illness. So they have sent me a coupon for my viewers, and it's Maggie100. You can use that at checkout on smartsharpspin.com, and that'll get you $100 off of your purchase. And make sure to follow Smart Sharp Spin on Instagram. Follow along with the work that they're doing to help every patient stick to it, because every injection matters, and I know the importance of that.